Welcome to the Fencing Success Podcast, a show where fence and deck contractors are looking to grow their company and take it to the next level. Hey, I'm your host, Marko Sipila, co-founder at FencingLaunch. In each episode, we will be interviewing successful business owners, vendors, and a whole lot more. We'll see you on the podcast. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to another podcast here on the Fencing Success Podcast. Today, we are super excited to introduce a very special guest. I've known him for a little bit now. His name is Joe Crisara with Service MVP. Joe has been known as the America's Service Sales Coach. And I mean, over 40 years of experience, been doing this for a while in the blue collar space, right? And just a couple of things. I mean, you've helped thousands of service businesses. I mean, you spoke on stages. You even have a book, and you've been doing a lot. So super excited to have you on the podcast here.
Well, thank you so much, Marko, for inviting me here. I have a definite passion for both of those businesses that you work with, the coating and also fencing business. I'm both a consumer and a provider of that solution. I've worked with companies that do both. I've bought that solution several times in my life, and I've also sold that solution many times in my life. So I definitely have a passion to help your clients here and help your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of the audience here listening on this podcast are going to be fence and deck businesses, kind of like the one you outlined before we went live here. And I'd say there's different stages of this business. I mean, there's the $1 million mark, there's $5 million mark, and I want to make sure we cover kind of all grounds here. That way everybody can relate. But just to kind of get right into it, like back years ago, I mean, you used to actually run a home service company, right? So I guess tell us a little bit more about your journey, kind of how you got to where you're at today.
Well, it's the journey is peppered with a lot of mistakes, as probably people should know. It's like nobody ever was born knowing how to do this type of a business. So I want everybody who's listening to this to give themselves a little grace. But I also want you to know that all the mistakes, I know it's hard to believe this, but all the mistakes you've ever made, if you're able to, my first advice would be to take inventory of all the flameouts or the crash and burns that you've gone through in this business that were not successful. Every day that's not successful is something you should document, because that's going to be a story later on you're going to tell when you're successful getting through that barrier about what it took to get through that. Does that make sense? So I'm just fortunate enough to, I mean, if you read my book, the book called What Should We Do, how to grow, win clients, double profit, and grow your home service. I'm just looking at a banner I have over here that says it right now, so I got it. I should have brought a book with me. But basically, if you read the book, you're going to read about half the book. It's filled with like a story of what I did to fail, and then what I also did to succeed, the lesson I learned. I think that's something that's just a good piece of advice for everybody to do. Say, like, take inventory and write down and take and journal in a way some of the things that have gone wrong this week and this every day. And then also come up with possible solutions that you can implement to do it. Because that's my superpower now, is smelling problems in a business like this and then providing a solution. I would say I can solve any problem in a service type business, like a fencing or deck or coating business, anything like that. I can tell you a solution in 3 minutes, because I failed thousands of times. About 20, but I got 47 years of doing this. Probably about 23 years of doing it the wrong way and 24 years of figuring out what to do the right way. So I'm very keen on both ways of doing it. But to know the problem or the disaster you're about to run into and avoiding that disaster, it's like in football. You don't win the game by scoring that many touchdowns. It's really you did not lose the game because you didn't fumble or throw an interception. So if you can avoid doing things wrong, then what emerges is the right way. Does that make sense, sir? So you don't got to do any extra. When things work right, there's no extra effort, Marko. It's like it's just right, and it's easy. When it's wrong is when it's hard. Makes sense? That's the thing about it. So it's not hard. If you're my advice is that if you're running a fencing and deck business and things seem too hard to be profitable, then you're probably using the wrong tool, or you're doing something wrong, because it should be easy to make profit. When you're making profit, everything's easy. Makes sense?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I guess, like, what made you focus on the sales side? Like when was that sort of shift of like, okay, you're running a service business to like, okay, I'm good at running sales, or maybe like tell us a little more about that side of it.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up. That's a really good question. Like, let's put it this way: I had a heating, air conditioning, and plumbing and electrical business, and I built like a palace to the inventory, my office, everything was set up. I had the best facility, the best of everything. So I had red carpet internal stuff, but I realized that wasn't making enough money to pay for it. So I was basically stealing money from my vendors and people like that to be able to build this palace in a way. And I
Hmm.
realized the main problem was that we weren't selling enough stuff. I could blame my marketing, like I wasn't getting enough calls. But truthfully, that's what it wasn't. What it was, I still had people calling every day. I had a few people on the schedule, and I'm like, the problem isn't how many calls I got; it's what I'm doing with the calls I have, right?
Right.
So when
Hmm.
I started saying I was in the book you'll read if you read that book, one of my clients, one of the very first stories I tell is one of my clients saw that I was doing things wrong, and he was a professional pharmaceutical salesperson. And he said, Joe, I can see the problem you're having right now is you're not offering people premium solutions. You're always trying
Hmm.
to save people money on a way to do the job. You're trying to find a lower cost way to do it to help the consumer. I see. So he goes, you really want to help the consumer, do a more premium solution that costs more money, but the solution will be now more permanent. And he just
Hmm.
kind of showed me some examples of it, and that's really the heart of what I teach today. Is what I learned from that client who I was at the time too, Marco. I got to give the failure credit, because if I wasn't failing at that time, my mind wouldn't have been open to listening to a new way. I would have been like, "Who's this guy? I don't sell pharmaceuticals. Why listen to him?" Right? But
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I was struggling enough, I felt like I'd be open to any advice, and that's brought me here. So I do have a special place in my heart, though, for people who are already successful, but they're trying to grow. That's a more healthy way of doing it, right? Like, don't wait till your company's crashing and burning and then try to fix it. Fix it before it crashes and burns. That's what I have a special place in my heart for most of the people who don't crash and burn, but try to fix things while the thing is still working. Make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. And like, it's all about being proactive, like, and like you said, like, you kind of, like earlier you said something like when profits are good. You're doing it right, But when, you're struggling, I mean, the tools aren't working, so you got to switch out the tool belt, you know?
Yeah, you could say we're the best workmanship. We do the best job. We have the best quality. But if you're not making a profit, then you're not doing the best quality. You're missing an element of quality. The quality of the financial investment it's going to take to get this job done right, and still have enough profit so that you can handle emergencies that come up.
Hmm.
You can replace things that are wearing out. You can invest in new emerging technologies and things like that. You can get a bigger location. If you're profitable, all those things become an easy reality. When you're not profitable, then you wind up being surprised, and everything seems like it's always a surprise. And then you're digging out of your own wallet. So if you're having to go in your own bank account to put money back into your business, then your business is not taking care of itself. It's stealing from you, stealing from the future of your family. And that's
Hmm.
one thing that I would say this, business owners, Marco, I don't know if you heard of the term gaslighting, but
Hmm.
they're really good at gaslighting themselves. Like, yeah, we got our trucks, we got our brand, we got our office. It's all working good, right?
Lying to
It's
themselves,
and it's like, yeah, how much money do you have in the bank? Oh shit, we don't have any money in the bank. Yeah, so I mean, is it really working good? I mean, you got the vendors taken care of, the employees taken care of, the real estate taxes are paid, the insurance guy's making money. How about you? Are you are you making 25% on this thing? Because
yeah.
why is the insurance guy making 15% off your business for workman's comp, liability, vehicle insurance, and health insurance? He's making 15% of every dollar. He just writes a policy once a year. You're running this thing every
Right.
single day, and you're not making 25%. You should be making 25, 30% on this business
Yeah.
for yourself and your family. So, the first key performance indicator for a fencing business and a deck business, if you're having to take money out of your own bank account and put it back in the company, got news for you, Chief. You don't need any financial papers. you're not making money. You're having to steal money from your own family to put it back in this business.
Right. Just to keep it going, just to keep it afloat.
Yeah, just to make it. Oh, I'll just do it this one time to make payroll. I'll put the payroll on a credit card, dude. You're doing that. That tells you you're not charging enough money. And what's the difference? That's how I got into sales, because I don't look at it like sales. I look at it like we have a financial responsibility to make a profit to sustain this company into the future. We can't make enough money for today only. We have to make enough money today, but also money for the future, so I can afford infrastructure, emergencies, new technologies, things that wear out. These are just things that are going to happen. If you don't have that profit built into your business, those things are all going to come at you and take that whatever profit you thought you had.
Yeah.
It's going to make you come back down to a zero account. So I'm going to say this, Marko. People can talk all they want, but you're not going to gaslight Uncle Joe. I can see the truth. When I go to your business, I'm like, "Where's your building? Where's your office? Where? Oh, we work out of our home. Why are you working out of your home? Oh, we can't afford this. Yeah, because you're not charging enough money. So you need.
Mhm.
So that's really all I got in the sales. We
Yeah.
need to charge. We need to charge enough money to cover all that stuff, but our ability to communicate is only down here. So here we're trying to make this much money, but our ability to communicate stuck down here. We need to raise our ability to communicate the prices so it feels like the way we communicate is better than the price, so that people can see value in the service. And I think everybody here, all of us, even me and you together, Marko, with our businesses, it's a struggle to make sure that we are creating more value than our clients are paying for. If we don't
Mhm.
do that, if our client doesn't feel like they got more from us than they thought they were going to get, the future of your business is not bright. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I love how you're so direct, like, let's just call it how it is. Like, here's the issue. And then let's find a solution, you know? And
Well,
imagine.
well, I stopped lying to myself, probably about
Mhm.
25 years ago or so, 20, about 20, 27, 28 years ago. I think I stopped lying to myself and I started saying, you know what, you think you're doing good with this thing, but you're building a palace or a monument to yourself, but you're not
Mhm.
building a profitable palace or monument, and
Yeah.
that's not gonna be sustainable, because it's just,
Yeah.
if you're trying to figure out, why am I working so hard and not making any money at this thing. I mean, truthfully, most people who own a business would be better if they just didn't have the business. They just work somewhere, because they're not really attuned. The things they hate to do, like the financials and that part of it there, something you got to love to do that if you're not going to be in business.
Yeah. No, for sure. Okay. Well, let's dive into some actual like practical sales techniques and strategies that fence and deck companies can take away with today. Okay. So I
Yeah,
guess like
yeah.
the biggest thing I wanted to ask you, and I was kind of writing this down here before, was like, what do you see as the biggest challenges or biggest mistakes that fence contractors are making in their sales today?
I think when somebody calls them for a fencing solution or a deck solution or something like that, they just go with the flow and they start thinking about the solution, but they're not in tune with the problem. So I think number one tip I would have is that, why do we need a fence?
Hmm.
Why don't we go with this? So the question you should ask yourself is, what would happen if we didn't have a fence? Why don't we just not do this? Like, if you told the customer, yeah, I'm looking for an estimate on a fence, and I would say, Joe, is there a reason why? I mean, it seems like the house is really nice and you're in a very nice neighborhood. Is there a reason why you need to get a fence? Why don't we just leave it like it is now? Like, if they just ask that question, it would force the client to tell them the reason why getting a fence is important. Now, to
Yeah.
everybody, every single person, you might do 10 fencing jobs, and you might have a senior citizen, and he's like, I don't like the noise from the street. I want to make a more quiet thing. So now you got actually, it helps you determine the type of solution you're going to provide, because before you're going to put in, yeah, we're just going to do shadow box here, or we're going to do whatever you normally do, some panel fencing of some sort. Be like, no, we got to do a higher fence to get that noise level down, so this guy
Hmm.
can enjoy serenity in his backyard, right? Then you might have one where we're doing it for the kids, because I don't want the kids to have a place to play where I can keep an eye on them, where I don't have to worry about that they're running out in the street. Okay, well, that's safety. We're going to do a safety fence to make sure that the security of the fence, to make sure that we're going to install
Yeah.
locks and the bolts so that the kids don't just go running out of the yard, that they make it high enough so a small child can't just lift the latch and get out, we use that gate. So there's things we got to start considering that if we don't find the problem that the reason why we're doing it, what's the motivation of the buyer? What's wrong with the current situation? Because if nothing's wrong with the current situation, then there's no need for a solution. But if
Hmm.
but here's a good thing. Nobody would call a fencing company if something wasn't wrong with the current situation. So I think most fencing people I see don't even pay attention to that. And they go, "What are you looking for?" "I'm just looking for a fence. Okay, we're getting estimates right now on a fence. That's all we're doing. Okay, let's go look at it. All right, let's go through this. And then they go through the solutions. They go right to the solution without mentioning any problems. So if you're going to
Hmm.
do a presentation, my number one thing, be ready to present the current problems with the way it is now, and then position the problem right next to your solution. And guess what, Marco? The
Hmm.
solution becomes more valuable immediately
Yeah.
when you put it when you put the problem next to the solution. Suddenly, the solution now is something we have to have,
Right.
not something we can have to keep shopping around for. Because this guy has explained the problem with the security of my daughter. There's a street, a very Route 45 is right next to our property, and my daughter, that could be a tragedy that could happen. My
Yeah.
dog, it could be a tragedy with my dog. So we want to make sure that we figure out what are we trying to avoid. uh, is it serenity for a client that they want a place that's peaceful? Is it security so people can't break in? Is it containment so that
Hmm.
the dog and the kids don't go running out in the street? What are we trying to promote? That's the thing. We have to explain the problem like we understand the family and what they're trying to get out of this,
Right.
and then we show a solution that matches the problem exactly. So it shows the client that we chose this fence because you said you wanted serenity. That's why I chose the extra high fence with the solid panels and a foam core between the panels to make sure that we have a much quieter experience for you, John. That's why I did that for you. A place you can rest and have a moment of zen because you've earned it. You're retired and you deserve to have a moment of peace. Make sense? So that's the kind of thing
Yeah.
that we can explain to people. But if we don't do that, number two is we have to make sure we study the customer. So we got to find the problem. We also have to figure out who is living in this home and what are we trying to achieve with the fence. What's the current problem with that part? And then again, what are we going to achieve with the solution part of it there? Go ahead. That's all I
Yeah.
would say. Number one is if you
Yeah.
don't have a problem, then don't bother with the solution.
Yeah. 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 If there's no pain, if there's no urgency, there's nothing, then there's no solution. I mean, there's no point in doing the solution.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
would say if you assume you know what it is, then confirm whatever you think it is, and
Right. Get it
you'll probably be
verbal.
surprised. You'll probably be shocked when you try to confirm it. So you're just looking for a fence so it looks nice, right? No, I'm looking for a fence because my dog. What's
Yeah.
wrong? Oh my God, he almost got killed the other day. Like, what happened? And see, that kind of conversation is going to drive from going from three estimates to let's just get this shit done. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's like I was going to get five estimates until I start talking about my dog is going to get killed. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, you know what? I'm not going to wait. Let's just get this damn thing done.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
go one more week. My mind is crazy thinking about my dog is going to get killed or whatever. Does that make sense, sir? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so think about it. There's fencing probably has 50 different reasons why people get one. We have to figure out, although we should be good at knowing that because we've been to so many homes before and be able to say, let's practice what that looks like on the problem. And
Right.
then the solution becomes more rapid. The sales cycle shortens because now people are comparing the solution against
Mhm.
the problem. But without a problem, I can now wait forever. So there's no problem. Make sense?
Yeah. And you're gonna pair, like you said, I like how you said that, you're gonna pair the problem with the solution. The solution is your fence, like the actual fence install project that you'll do. And so it's like they're gonna buy because of that pain, like you
Yeah,
said with
well, because the solution so perfectly matches the pain, right?
mm,
If the pain is security, or if the pain is serenity, if the pain is containment, if the pain is a place where our family gathers together, a place where the family a congregation could be a problem. There's no place where I don't feel comfortable with my family in the backyard where all of our neighbors can see us. I like to have a place of privacy. Might be something that might be a problem. Make sense? So we have to make sure that we can explain both the privacy problem, but also how much this help them imagine your family in the backyard together at a barbecue, and everybody feeling like this is only our family. This is our circle.
Mhm.
And I was going to point out one more thing, Marko. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, you're good.
even animals know that we have to kind of mark our property or our area, right? And so, it's the most fencing is like probably one of the most base instinct businesses that goes back into our subcortex of our brain that we have to provide a perimeter for our family to live in so that they're safe and contained so people know this is mine, this is our area. And that's
Mhm.
really what fencing represents. Fencing represents a lot more psychologically than just some panels with a posts that are between it. Makes sense?
Yeah.
It goes much deeper into the human intellect, and I don't think a lot of fencing guys really realize what fencing represents. And I think that would be a good assignment for them to say, hey, what do people really get from fencing? Is it privacy? Come up with one word that people get and try to use those words they're going to get. Joe, that's going to give you the maximum privacy. I did that for your daughter, Amy, because she has the Girl Scouts. I want the Girl Scouts to be in your backyard and feel like this is a private event that you're having, not something where all the neighbors are looking over the fence to see what's going on like that. I don't want to see that. That's why I made a little bit taller barrier so you'd have a little more private and less noise so people can have that Girl Scout meeting and things like that. So you're able to be more personal with the solution as well there. Make sense?
Yeah. And like, that is it's a big thing, I guess, that people are missing is just asking the right questions. Like what prompted you to call us out here today? Like, and then they'll just start telling you why they have you out there. So
Well,
other than that,
it could be who called us out. Hey, so who's the one who suggested we get a fence? My wife. What did she say? She said that I can't live in a house like this anymore. Well, we just bought this house, John. Why can't you live here? She said without the fence, she doesn't feel safe in the backyard right now. She likes to sunbathe with the pool out there, but she says without the fence, I feel uncomfortable and I'm not comfortable by my own home. Oh my goodness. Well, she's lucky to have you, right? So that would be a great thing. Like the question is not just about, what do you want here, but who wants it? What do they want? What does each individual person want out of this type of a thing? That's the kind of question which that is in the book. So if you did want to get the book, it is built right into the material. It's like, and by the way, that book is at 460 pages. There's nothing held back. So everything I teach you here, there's probably another 100 pages to follow it through. Make sure you can get it. Make sense?
yeah, I love that. So other than that, the first mistake you see their contractors making, like what would you say another big sort of mistake fencing businesses are making with their sales?
I don't think they offer enough options to people. So I think, think about a business that they just come up with one solution and they just give them, here it is, your fence, and here's what's going to cost, and that's it. A couple things. Number one, you should have a more premium solution that's has better warranties and services and stuff like that go with it. Like maybe if you're going to do some kind of wooden fence, that we would do coating on the fence to protect it. Maybe we'd coat it every single year and come out and redo it and clean it, pressure wash it, and recoat it again every 2 years you do that. I don't know. You figure out what you're going to do, but this one includes more service after we put it in. Make sense? So that's number one. We should add more service and more warranty on the premium option, and the bottom option is just the basic fencing with no warranty and service, a very minimum 1 year warranty and service. So if you had a more premium thing that would be a 10-year warranty and stuff like that, and you're doing more work like coating it, doing a deck, you're going to power wash it and coat the deck every single year or
Yeah.
every 2 years, however long you think it is, with the kind of materials you're going to use that you think would be good. Instead of, because what are we doing right now? Yeah, every year you should then, because you got that maple tree, just pressure wash it. Go out and get yourself a pressure washer, and then go get yourself some sealant. Like we're telling the consumer I'm going to put in something for you to give you a job to do, which is not a very good sales pitch. Does it make sense?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, let me put that deck in. But don't forget, get yourself a pressure washer and go buy some Thompson water seal. And then every year, here, you're going to need to let me show you how to do it. It's like, dude, why are we doing that? Why aren't you just including that service with the service you sell and let people purchase it? That's how you're going to get that profit. By the way, you're taking away one of the most profitable parts of the business is the future service on deck and fence. Not what we're doing now is the tip of the iceberg. When we say include the future service to maintain this thing and to warranty it, and people will pay extra for that if you then offer it. So I'm telling you, I want to give you a 20-year warranty on this fence. Believe me, I'm going to charge like 5,000 more for that. I'm not going to be like the same thing and just give you a 5-year warranty. It's going to be whatever that deck was going to cost, or that fence is going to cost 5,000 more now, because I'm married to this thing for 15 years or 10 years or whatever it is. All right, that makes sense. So you got to put enough money into it. So if you say something like, I can't warranty something for 10 years, Joe, and I'd say, what's stopping you? I don't got the money for that. I said, well, then charge the money for it. You're answering your own question. Why are you not willing to charge for that? And by the way, if you do all that, premium, mid-range economy, here's the third thing, Marko. You didn't even ask me. You want to ask me, Joe? What's the third thing?
Well, what's the third thing?
Financing. You should. Everybody needs to surrender to financing and saying, this is a monthly payment you're going to make. Not listen. If I'm doing all that stuff for a deck, and let's say I did a deck and fence on a premium deck or fence. I mean, I'm looking at a 20,000 plus solution, probably maybe even 30,000 in some bigger houses, stuff like that, right? I'm going to add a warranty to it as well in service. I'm going to add about 10% more to that, so it'll give me another 33,000. Dude, you're not going to be successful throwing 33,000 at somebody. Because I'll get my calculator. If you said it's 33,000, and instead you divided 33,000, I'm going to look at it right now just to see 33,000 divided by 120 months, which is 10 years. That's 275 a month they're going to pay. That's what you need to be saying to people. You don't need to be talking about. Of course, you got to have financing charges and stuff like that into it as well. But bottom line is that you got to start doing things on a monthly payment, like a 10-year loan, so the thing becomes ridiculously cheap. Like I say, it's a $15,000 job that would be probably 140 a month or whatever, $92 a month it would cost for the thing, right? So the financing is something that just has to be offered on every single call when you're offering more premium solutions. So premium, mid-range economy solutions, the premium ones are way more than you thought it was going to be, and even you'll be shocked at the price. So when you're shocked at the price, then the answer to that is not lower the price. The answer to that, the best way to lower the price is to break it up into 120 payments or 60 payments or whatever, so people can afford the solution, because financing is the gift of affordability. If you don't do that, you're just not in tune with today's service environment.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And
I could give you a chance to talk. I could give you a chance to talk too. Sorry.
No. You're good. You're good. You're good. This is really good. I mean, everybody's loving it. And in the fencing industry, again, like these projects aren't like $1,000. Like, you get 10, 15, $20,000 in some cases, And so like, if you offer just financing as well, like on top, like you could say, okay, it's X amount or $200 a month or whatever it is, right? Like it becomes that much more surreal where people are, especially in this economy, right? Where cash might be a little bit harder to come around. But yeah, that's super big, man.
Well, this is this way, guys. Stop thinking about I'm doing poles and panels. You are adding another outdoor room to this home. This is the ultimate outdoor room, right? It's an outdoor living. We're adding a room with walls and barriers to keep our animals in, to keep our privacy, our security, and make sure our family is safe and comfortable. So you're adding like an addition to the house. So I think what hasn't happened yet in the deck and fencing industry is that they haven't come to like a new normal. Like they fought so hard to keep the price at about $3,000 to do a normal fence for somebody. The fencing people are so determined to keep the price lower. It's like, dude, why are you doing that? Let's just say, don't worry about the price. Let the price go. Don't worry about it. Do the job and get all the materials and stuff you're going to need to do a most premium job you can do with the most premium service you can offer. And I don't care where the price winds up, because whatever it takes to do the price, you have to create a new paradigm for clients that is not just posts and panels. This is an additional room to your house. This is going to be an outdoor room. In this area over here, we're going to have the barbecue room. Over here, we have the relaxation room on the deck. Over here, you know what I'm saying? You got to start painting the picture of how people are going to live in this enclosed area so they can imagine that this fencing guy really knows how to live. Like this
Yeah.
guy isn't just selling me posts and panels. He's selling me a new way that our family is going to interact with each other, and
Right.
that's really something that it's the emotional part of the sale that people
Okay.
purchase. The good reason is most clients do imagine that on their own. So you got to get on the same page as your client is, because your client's already there emotionally to get this thing done. You as a fence provider got to be on the same page they're on, or else you're going to be lost.
Yeah. I love that. Let me transition real quick before we close and everything here. There's one of the books you have here. What should we do? Okay. I just remember you were speaking at, I think it was a vertical track or freedom event, one of
Hmm.
Tommy's events. And I just remember when you first were talking about this, when I first heard it, and it's like, what should we do? Like when you're closing the deal, right? So like
Hmm.
explain that process a little bit for everybody listening here. Like, what do you mean by that, and how does that all work?
Well, if I've um, connected with my clients and learned about, what is each member of the family going to get from a deck or a fence, like how do we imagine people benefiting? What's the problem with that? And let's ask the people about what they're experiencing now, and then let's try to imagine what they're going to experience before in the future. Then we're going to give them several choices: a more premium choice, which is all inclusive, a mid-range choice, and an economy choice. Like the premium choice would include Wi-Fi cameras outside, so we can monitor my family in the backyard or my dogs in the backyard. You can include those choices with it. It's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Hmm.
The economy choice is just a fence, and that's it, right? So we did that, and then you made the problems more apparent to how that's going to how there could be issues with the family and the pets and things like that. The solutions are going to solve that problem. Just pick the one you want that's best for you. At the end of it, there's nothing left to do. Now the sales pitch is only one thing. Well, here's all the problems. Here's all the solutions. We know how the family will be impacted if we don't do this, and we know how they're going to be impacted when we do it. So my question is, what should we do? And the client's going to say, well, I got to think about that, Marko. And I say, Joe, take all the time you want. I'll stay right here. What should we do? They're going to say, your prices are high. They're expensive, right? You're more money than any fencing person I called. And I'd say, I should hope so, because we provide the best service. So what should we do?
Yeah.
So what should we do is the thing that brings it to a conclusion, which puts the law of expectation on the call, which the expectation of either get the job done, tell me you're not interested in my services, or let's schedule another day to get the job done. Schedule some other
Mhm.
day. So there's only 3 outcomes every call: yes, no, another appointment. Now, it's
Mhm.
only the fencing contractors that make the fourth thing happen, which is email a bid and then chase it down. Can I just get this to everybody's thick skull? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Emailing bids to people and then waiting for them to call you back, it doesn't work. You're going to sell like
Yeah.
23% of that. You have to be able to say, if I did all the work to look at this project and tell you the problems, make all these premium mid-range economy solutions, I've created a whole marketplace, the premium marketplace, the mid-range and economy. I don't expect to wait for anything. Here's the
Hmm.
job. What should we do? And the client's going to be like, man. Then they're going to talk to each other. Honey, which one do you want to do? And the wife's going to say, of course, baby, I want the good one. And the guy's going to go, well, can you lower the price at all? Yeah, I can lower the price, John. How about if we take away that water sealant every year? How about if you just do it yourself? I got 10 years built in of water sealing and then power washing. I'll just take away the power washing and water sealing for 10 years. You just do it yourself, and I can save it instead of 12,000 or 15,000. It'd only be instead of 20,000, it'd be 17,000 or whatever. So what should we do? Get back to that again. So the what should we do is like the last thing you say when you get done handling objections with people. So people give you barriers when you give them the price. Your job is to manage that part of the job, which is the selection phase. So write this down. This is the selection phase.
Selection phase.
If you can't manage the selection phase of what we have, then the client's trying to tell you that they're not going to use you. Get it through your head. I don't want to pick anything you have. So you're just trying to tell me no? I'm not saying that. Well, then are you saying yes? I'm not saying that either. What are you saying then? What should we do?
Yeah.
I'm saying I want to think about it. Take all the time you need. I'll stay right here. I'm not going to leave. You're not
Yeah.
going to leave? Why aren't you going to leave? Well, because we haven't made the selection yet. As soon as you make a selection or you tell me to go and say no, it's a no. So guys, if you just got somebody to say, why don't you just tell me no? Or why don't you make a selection? Those are at this point, are you interested or not interested? And what do you think most people would say to a fencing guy? Well, Joe, I've shown you premium mid-range economy solutions for your family. Marko, are you interested or not interested at this point? What do you think most people are going to say to that?
Yeah. I mean, they're either they'll say they're interested, right?
If not, almost 100% are going to say they're interested.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you're interested, then Marko, the next phase would be to get the job done. So which one are you interested in the most? Which is your favorite one?
Yeah.
The mid-range one. What do you like about that one? That gives me the 5-year warranty, and it does give me that security with the extra height. That's true. So what should we do? Can I get the job done like next week? Well, if I could clear my schedule, what would happen then? Yeah, we just do the job next week then. All right, so what should we do? Yeah, let's just get it next week. You see, you're giving the client a chance to commit when you say, what should we do? Because guys, there's nothing you can say to somebody to commit for them. When people give you the money, they have to commit to giving you money. Because if people are not committed to giving you the money voluntarily, then you're stealing from people. You're robbing them. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
they have to hand over the money, and they have to hand it over willingly, without begging for it or without taking it from them. So don't take the money and run. Let the client make that firm commitment, and nothing creates that commitment more clearly than those 4 words. What should we do? Those 4 words, Marko, are like Gone with the Wind. They're perfect. You can't, like, nobody would change the movie Gone with the Wind, the title. Don't
Yeah.
change what should we do. Those are the 4 words that I know are perfect for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. All right. Awesome. Well, super honored to have you here on the podcast. And I guess just in closing, I guess where should people find you? I mean, you got your website, servicemvp.com, but where else can people find you?
Well, you can find us, man, TikTok and all kinds of places. We're at TikTok, Instagram now. I didn't even know Instagram existed until like 3 years ago. But anyway, I'm starting to pick up on it. We have tons of content you can listen to if you like what you heard here. You can get some more free stuff if you want to. If you'd like to get a free tour of what we do at Service MVP, we're the only company that actually does training for you with actual coaches that guide
Mhm.
your people through the training. We do live training in person. We also have Zoom events every single month. Last month, Marko, we had 1,239 people graduate from our program from
Wow.
all the companies that do that. So we are the only company that guides people 90 minutes a day for 3 weeks straight and graduates them on week 4. So everybody gets trained. So we're not just the people that just say, here's our content. You can do it that way if you want to, but we also have coaches that will guide you through the content and test your people to graduate them. And if you want a free tour of that service, I'd be happy to give that to you for free. Just go to servicemvp.com and hit the contact button, and you'll be able to put in there and say, I'd like a free tour from Uncle Joe. I'll be happy to give that to you guys. Makes
Yeah.
sense?
And let me see here. You said it was servicemvp.com.
.com. Yep.
Okay. So you guys, if you're watching, it's here on this landing page.
If you go to go to the about, I think it's go to the about, or is it go to the about and see if it's up there somewhere. Or it might be somewhere there. There's probably a contact page. Oh, go to the bottom. Scroll to the
Down to
bottom
the
there.
bottom. There it is.
It's got a contact us link. Just go there if you'd like to.
Awesome. All right. Sweet. Well, like I said, super honored to have you here on the podcast. And everybody's got a ton of value here. And without further ado, we'll see you guys on the next episode.